Hello CraftDee family, and welcome to another tutorial by She's So CraftDee. For today's DIY projects, we will be creating some beautiful home decor using the wood tumbling tower blocks from the Dollar Tree, also known as the Mini Jenga Blocks. Now these creations can be used in so many ways and in just about any space in your home. Now I've placed some of my favorite decorative accessories on these, but you can certainly customize these into your own personalized style of decor. Now as always, all of the projects I create have complete supply lists in the description box, so you can easily use it for reference as you gather your supplies. Now before we start, I have to say hey to all of my subscribers, and if you're a new visitor to my channel today, I hope you consider subscribing as well, and stick around to enjoy these crafts and all the different ways that I'll show you how to style these in your space. So now, let's jump right into the projects. Now this project is a 2-tier reversible display shelf. We're going to need some tumbling tower blocks from the Dollar Tree. We'll also need 4 of these wood trays from the Dollar Tree. Now we're going to go ahead and grab all of our blocks and use a carpenter square or a ruler for this project. I'm also going to be using a piece of parchment paper. This will help me remove my pattern while the blocks are still drying without ruining the design. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and grab up some blocks, and what we want to do is we kind of want to form a herringbone type of design as shown here. Now we're going to have them about 5 blocks high. I'm just showing you an example of what the pattern will look like. You just want to make sure it's 5 blocks. So when I start building this, I'm going to build it with some wood glue because I want this to be sturdy. This will be a weight-bearing project, so make sure you use wood glue for this project. And I'm using the wood glue from the Dollar Tree, or you can use Gorilla Wood Glue. So now I'm starting to build up my herringbone design using the corner of my ruler, and I'm making sure I get a generous amount of that wood glue on there and just wipe away any excess that squeezes out of the seam until you have that design 5 blocks deep. Now I'm just going to rotate it, and then I'm just going to keep adding rows of 5 blocks, adding on so the design will be the length that I require. So I'm just going to go ahead and add that in with the glue. And then I'm going to add 5 more blocks, and I am going to continue this all the way down. You just want to make sure your design is 5 blocks high, and make sure it's about 7 stacks across as shown here. Now we're going to be making 2 of these, so I want to go ahead and remove this from my work table. So this is where the parchment paper can be lifted up. I'm just sliding it on a piece of cardboard and sitting this to the side and making sure I don't disturb the drying of the project. So I just have another piece of parchment paper that I'm putting down, and I am going to build another one of the design 5 blocks high and 7 stacks across. And when that's done, just go ahead and remove that as well and let them sit to the side to dry. Now while those are drying, go ahead and we are going to grab all of our wood crates, and these are going to be 2 across, so I want to make sure that the ends are matching up. If you know Dollar Tree, sometimes these can be a little bit weird in their sizing, so I'm just making sure they're even on their sides. So I'm taking 2 of the crates, and what I'm going to do is take more of that wood glue, and I am going to add wood glue to the side of one of the crates. And what I'm going to do is bond these close together because I want my shelf to be 2 crates wide. And I'm using these clips from the Dollar Tree. I love using these little clips. They're in the crafter square. This will hold those crates together while they are adhering. Just make sure that everything is nice and even. Now we're going to repeat the same thing for the other 2 crates as well, making sure that those are clipped together, and you want to sit everything to dry for a few hours. So now that my sides are pretty dry and I can handle them, I'm going to go ahead and grab those, and this is what they will look like. I'm also going to go ahead and grab my crates as well, and they are nice and bonded, so I can remove the clips from those. Now what I'm going to do is reinforce that connection between the two crates. So I am taking my staple gun and I'm just going to staple right inside of the crates so they're attached, and I'm applying 4 of those staples. This is just a little bit more reinforcement because that wood glue is already really strong, but I like to have a little bit more support and a little reinforcement in my projects. So now what I'm doing is I'm going to sit that 2-stack crate on the side. I want the bottom of my crate to be aligned with the bottom edge of those blocks as shown here. And I'm using a pencil to just make a line of where the top of those 2 crates are lining up. And I'm going to do that at the top of the stack as well. So you'll know where each one is going to sit on that stack of that herringbone block design there. So I'm putting down my ruler and then I'm grabbing my 2 tray crates again, and I'm going to put them back on the align, and this is where you can see how far left and right they will sit and make sure that they're even when you finally decide to glue them into place. So now that I know where I'm going to glue them, I'm adding glue to the side of the crates to sit on the sides. Now in retrospect, you should actually put the glue on the side support and not actually on the crates, but this worked for me. But definitely put it on the side support next time so you don't have any excess glue to wipe away. So we're going to do this for the top and the bottom, and make sure you're using that pencil line that you drew to make sure that they are evenly spaced on the vertical and the horizontal. Now once those 2 are in place, we're just going to glue the top one on right on top to make sure that that's in alignment as well. And here it is all glued into place. And what you want to do now is add some weight to the top and let that sit overnight. Now if you don't have a weight, you could definitely use some clips or clamps and make sure that sits for several hours overnight. So here it is the next morning. This shelf is really solid. The wood glue has dried. You can see how sturdy this is. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and remove all of the labeling from the bottom of those wood trays, because we are going to be preparing to stain this. Now before we do stain, I am going to take my staple gun one more time. Since my crates are now dried against the side supports, I am going to add some staples in there as well. So I'm going to add 4 staples, 2 on each side, inside the little trays as shown here. Now no worries about the staples in the side. You will not see these after it's stained, but it does provide that little extra support to make your project last. So now that all my staples are all in place and my shelf unit is now secure, I can go ahead and stain. Now I am going to be using my Waverly Antique Wax to stain these. Now if you want to use traditional wax, I suggest you stain all your pieces before you assemble it so you won't see the glue. But Waverly Antique Wax will cover the glue in these projects pretty well, so I decided to do my staining last since I knew I was going to use the wax. So I'm going to start by staining the inside of all of my trays first, and then once I apply the wax, you definitely want to follow up with a towel or a paper towel or rag and remove all of the excess wax so that antique look will really shine through in your project. Now you're just going to continue this and stain the inside of all of your trays on your shelf. Now once all of the insides are done, we're going to do the outsides and the front and back of those trays as well. And this is those all completed. And then finally, you can do the side supports with the wax. Now here is the entire unit all nice and stained. It's still kind of wet, but you want it to sit to completely dry. And then once it is dry, you can decorate it. And check it out, you guys. Okay, here is my shelf decorated in my master bath. Now I've added some towels, some trinkets, and decor to these shelves, and I love how it looks. The Waverly Antique Wax looks so awesome on the wood, and it really gives this piece a warm and cozy spa look. And let me tell you, the zigzag accent on this piece is the icing on the cake. This shelf design looks so amazing. Now, even though I decorated this for a bath, there are so many other ways that you could use this piece. Now, if you are into farmhouse decor, here is a cute way to display your items. Now, I absolutely love using combinations of white with the greenery, and it really makes the decor in your display really pop. And you could cater this shelf to any design that you really love. And since this is a reversible shelf, there's other ways to display it. You can flip it over and make it into a cute coffee bar. Now, I love this to-go style coffee bar, and it has all of my favorites ready to go for a busy lifestyle. Now, this is only a few ideas of ways to use this shelf, but the possibilities are really endless with this design. Now, you all have to let me know what you think about this shelf and how you would use it in your home. Now, this project is a wood multi-purpose basket. We're going to be using some Tumbling Tower Blocks on the Dollar Tree and some craft sticks from Lowe's for 98 cents. So gather up your blocks, grab your carpenter square, and the first set of blocks we'll be joining together are 5 blocks side to side. Now, for this project, we will be using our wood hot glue. You could use a regular wood glue if you want, but it's not necessary. We're going to go ahead and use our hot glue, and then we're going to glue the pieces side to side, making sure we flip the row as we go to make sure our pieces are nice and even. Now, here is that 5 block set, and you want to continue this and make 6 sets of these, and here they are ready to go. Now, the next set of blocks we'll be joining together are just sets of 2, just joining these end to end. Now, we're going to be making a total of 6 of these as well. So now we're going to start building up our basket. So take 3 of those 5 block sets and lay them out lined up against your carpenter square, and then add 6 single blocks right on top of one of the 5 block sets. Now, we want to space these nice and even. We want to have one on each end, and then each block in between will be placed at a seam in the 5 block set as shown here. We're just going to take our wood stick hot glue, and we are just going to join those in place very carefully, making sure you wipe away any glue that oozes out, and this is important so it doesn't show up in your finished project. Now, here is what they look like all attached to one of those pieces, and now we're just going to sandwich that in with another one of those 5 block sets right on top. Just add a dot of that glue right on top of each one of those, and then adhere that 5 block set right on top. So now for that last 5 block set, again, we are just going to add those 6 blocks there. We're going to adhere them to the set as shown here, making sure everything is even. Close it in with another 5 block set, and here is the long side panel of the basket. So now we're just going to repeat this again and make sure we have 2 side panels. So now we're going to take those 2 block sets and we're going to stack 3 in a row, this time only using 3 blocks in between each one of the rows, and we're just going to join this the same way we did for our larger side panels. Now here is one ready to go, just make one more. And now you have all of your panels ready and good to go, and you can put your basket together. We're going to start with that large panel, and then what we're going to do is we're going to sit one of the end panels right on top of the edge, and we're just going to add glue to the side there and sit it right on top, making sure that each one of those edges is perfectly aligned. Once that's adhered, flip it around and add the other one on the other side. And then finally, all you have to do is close in your basket, add a strip of hot glue along the edges, and then place that last panel right on top. Just press it really firmly, make sure it's nice and secure, and at the top and ends are nice and even. And there you go. I'm flipping it around to show you this glue is really strong. This basket isn't going anywhere. So now what we're going to do is close in the bottom, and this is where those craft sticks come into play. We're going to lay these across the bottom of the basket. All we have to do is add our hot glue and start placing those sticks right across the bottom one at a time. You don't want to add a strip of glue too long. That way it doesn't sit out and start to dry before you get to a craft stick. Just add one at a time, making sure you press them firmly in, and that'll make sure the bottom will be super secure. So here are all of my sticks right in place. You want to make sure they do overlap because we're going to go in and trim these away. So now just grab your cutting mat and we're going to start trimming away. So I'm just going to be using my utility blade. You can get these from any hardware store or even the Dollar Tree has these. I'm just going to run my blade across the outside of the basket, trimming off all of the excess overage of those craft sticks. And this makes such a nice clean cut. It just appears so natural. So just do that all the way around your basket until everything is nice and trimmed and even. Then just go in with a piece of sandpaper and just make sure all the edges are nice and smooth, and you remove any splinters or any pieces of wood that may be stray. And there you go. Here is your completed basket. So now what we're going to do is stain the basket. Now, keeping with the colorway, I am still using the antique wax. So I'm just going to go ahead and apply this all over this outside. So I'm starting on the outside front panel. I'm going to start just spreading it randomly. And then every once in a while, you want to stop and wipe away all of the excess before it dries, because this will create a nice even surface. So here is the outside of the basket, one of the sides stained, and we want to do this all the way around the outside and inside. And then finally, we're just going to add some more of that antique wax on the inside bottom of the basket. And then again, making sure you wipe away off all of that excess wax to make sure it's nice and smooth. And then flip it over and stain the bottom. And once everything is nice and stained, here is what everything looks like, and just sit it to the side to completely dry. Now, another option for this basket is to have frosted panels. So I'm going to be using Dollar Tree chopping mats for this. I'm going to remove them from the package, and for this project, you really only need one of the chopping sheets. So using my cutting mat as a guide, I'm going to cut two pieces at 3 3/4 by 5.5 inches, and I'm going to cut two pieces 8 3/4 by 5.5 inches. Now this is the inside dimensions of my basket. Yours may vary slightly, but this is pretty on point if you use the Tumbling Tower Blocks. So I'm going to use my ruler and I'm going to cut out those squares and outline those squares on my chopping mat. As you can see here, I have the two smaller squares drawn out and I have the two larger squares. Now you could just cut these out with a pair of scissors, and here are all 4 of my pieces for my inside panel. And all I'm going to do is take a small and a large panel, and I'm just going to be taping these together with some clear Scotch tape. And then next to that large panel, add another small panel. We're just going to tape that on. Now keep in mind I'm working with the matte side facing you and the shiny side down. And then finally add that last large side. Now I'm folding in the excess tape, and you could cut it off if you like. So now I'm just going to fold in the ends where those two ends meet, and add that final piece of tape so it's one continuous loop. Just go ahead and tape that in place as well. And then once everything is firmly in place, you could pop open your rectangle, and you can see now it's in the shape of a rectangle, which is the shape of your basket. And then you can go ahead and do your test fit. I'm just going to grab my basket, and then I'm going to stick my panel right on the inside of there. It should fit inside perfect if you measured correctly and use those measurements. And as you can see, it does look nice, and there you go. You have a frosted panel if you want to have that option for your basket. And so here is my basket. It's all decked out in goodies in my space. Now I just put a few of my decor items in there, but you could place crafts, magazines, or whatever you like in your basket. And I just love the look of how Dollar Tree wood looks stained. Now, of course, this is just one way to use this cute little basket in your space. Now you can flip this over and use the bottom as a platform for your decor as well. Now I really do love the idea of using this decorative riser for display for different types of home decor. And you can place things inside the basket cage too. And of course, there's always another look, especially if you're looking for lighting. Now you can place some battery candles or tea lights inside for another unique look. And don't forget, you can just insert your frosted panels and now you have a softer ambient glow. Now this look is probably my favorite for this particular piece, with the lighting peeking through those basket panes. Then of course, you can flip that over as well to have a lighted platform base. Now this was so much fun to design and create. Let me know what you think of this project in the comments below. This project is a 3-piece multi-purpose candle stand decor. Now we're going to be needing some tumbling tower blocks from the Dollar Tree. Okay, well, we're going to grab our blocks and we're going to start with 3 blocks. What we're going to do is we are going to be gluing these side by side. I'm using my wood hot glue. You can use regular wood glue if you like. So once we get those 3 pieces glued side to side, this is one of the blocks we'll use, and we are going to be making 4 sets of these, and here they are. The next set of blocks we're going to be using is 6 blocks. So I'm going to glue all 6 together. Here is what one of those pieces look like, and again, we're going to be making 4 of these. The next set of blocks we'll be using are 9 blocks. Continue to use the glue to adhere all of these together, and we are going to be making 4 of these. And here they are, ready to go. Now the last set of blocks we'll be joining together are sets of 10, which is actually 2 rows of 5, and this will be our platforms. So we're going to join all of these together. And here it is, we're going to be making 3 of these. And now all of our blocks are put together for our project. So we're going to start assembling our towers. So what I'm going to do is I am going to be joining and making a square out of each set that I have made. So I'm starting off with my 3 block set. I'm going to be gluing one of the panels on each side of the base as shown here. Now once the 2 sides are on there, I'm going to take that last piece and just sit it on top where you have an open cube. Just add more of your glue and sit that last piece on top. Now you do want to make sure that your blocks are going horizontal for this project, and this is what one of your blocks will look like. And once that's done, you want to repeat this process for your sets of 6 blocks and your sets of 9 blocks. So here are all 3 of my towers all ready to go. So now what we're going to take is our 10 block sets, which are our platforms. We are going to be adhering those towers to the bottom of the platforms. We just want to add our glue and make sure that that is centered right in the middle there, so it'll be nice and even. Now here's our shorter one. We're going to repeat this for our 6 and 9 block set as well. And now we have our 3 towers all fully assembled. And now the fun part, it's time to stain. So I'm going to be using my Waverly Antique Wax, and I am going to be adding stain on the bottom. Now I will be getting inside of that tower at the bottom as well. You'll see why later, but I am going to add the wax on the inside and outside of the entire piece. And here's one piece all fully stained and wiped away with a cloth. And now all you have to do is stain the other 2 pieces. And now all 3 of them are stained and ready to go, and just allow them to dry. And once dry, here you have it, 3 beautiful wood candle stands for your space. Now I love the look of these, and they look so stylish in my space. The color is also so perfect for my relaxation, and as simple as these are, there are so many ways that you can style these. Now you can simply swap around the order by playing with the different heights, and it's so much fun with these pieces. Or how about flip them over and add a succulent to these and display them as planters? Now these are so nice when displayed this way as well, and the tops become the perfect platform for this arrangement when flipped over. You could just arrange them however makes your heart happy. Now there's another option, and that is to stack these. Now you can make a cute tower and planter combo as shown here for a different look. Now I just love creating these fun and easy projects that have multiple uses, and I hope these projects today have inspired you. Now as always, I love them all, but let me know in the comments which one was your favorite today. Listen, if you love DIYs on a budget, please give this video a thumbs up and share this video with your friends. Make sure that you're following She's So Crafty EE on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest for the latest news, sneak peeks, and giveaways. If you like videos like these and you don't want to miss the next one, make sure you're subscribed by clicking that subscribe button below, or just click on my She's So Crafty logo on your screen and make sure you hit that bell to be notified when the next DIY goes live. It's absolutely free. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.